I'm going to show you how to track your return on investment from LinkedIn. Just for context, I get over a 10 to 1 from LinkedIn myself, which means for every dollar that I spend on LinkedIn, I generate over $10 in gross profit. I've also worked with over 80 clients, helping them generate revenue. We've generated more than $10 million in client revenue. My agency has done over 7 figures in revenue. And I'm going to show you the inputs that are required, basically what you need to do, and the tweaks that you can make. The outputs, so basically how much revenue you generate, over how long of a time frame, what your lifetime gross profit to CAC ratio looks like. So I'm going to show you all of that. Let's dive in. So a lot of people with LinkedIn, they just track, they look and they see how many likes they got, how many impressions they got, and they let that drive everything that they do. And so you'll notice if you do a personal photo talking about how you found your wife and you got married, or you do a personal photo talking about your parents, or 36 lessons you learned from at age 36, none of those pieces of content are necessarily bad, but they're going to perform better in terms of impressions and likes. But it's unlikely that those are going to drive leads. And the reason, I don't know about you, but the reason why I post online isn't to become famous or to get a lot of followers or impressions. It's to drive leads for my business. And so if that's what you care about as well, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So the LinkedIn revenue calculator, I'll walk you through, will input business metrics, will add LinkedIn activity data. And this is assuming that you're already doing stuff. If you're not, then this will give you an idea of some benchmarks, some expectations, and review revenue projections. So let's take an example. These are the financial metrics that we're going to care about. So like this is very dependent on your business. What does the monthly revenue per customer look like? What does the gross profit look like? What does the churn rate look like? If you're paying to, you either hired an employee to handle LinkedIn for you, you hired an agency to help you with it, what does that cost? And then what does your traffic look like in terms of connections? How well do you convert that traffic into calls? And then how well do you convert those calls into new clients? So those are the metrics we really care about. Now let's go in and look at the calculator. After you input those metrics, basically what you'll see is your total connection growth, your total sales activities, and the total financial impact. So jumping in, I just have it on this other page here, so you're going to see it. So let us zoom in a little bit. I will move my lovely face over here, and I'll move this over here too. Okay, cool. So right now we have a marketing agency. So I've worked with some marketing agencies. We'll say this is a 8-figure marketing agency. And I'm actually going to think of somebody specific. So I know their numbers, and I know their average monthly is somewhere around $6,500 to $7,000. And then they actually have fantastic churn. So it's not 15%, which would be about 7 months, how long clients stay. They usually get clients for something like 24 months, which would be about a 5%, maybe a 4%, but we'll say 5%. So this is an agency. Gross profit, we'll keep it at 60. I think their net is like 30 or 25. And so I think this is safe, but let's be even more conservative. We'll say 50%, okay? So gross profit is at 50%. Can you see this okay? I'm going to zoom in a tiny more. So their lifetime value, basically, if they land one customer, that customer will pay them $130,000 over the course of 20 months, and the owners will make $65,000 in gross profit, which means after they've done all of the fulfillment, that's what they have left. And of course, there are still some other expenses that they have to deal with, but for every customer they land, the owners will make probably closer to $30K after all expenses. But we're looking at gross profit because that's the number that really matters for marketing expenses when you compare with marketing expenses. Okay, now we're going to come over here. We'll say that they're paying me. I'm the agency owner. They're paying me $5,000 per month, and these are the results that they're getting. So they are doing. We'll even go a little bit more conservative. They're selling to enterprise customers, so we're going pretty specific with our content. It's not broad. We're not getting this would be 50 followers a week, which isn't crazy, but we'll say we're getting 25 followers a week, which is 100 a month from content. And then we're sending 100 and let's say 200 connection requests every week, because you can send that. And why the heck wouldn't you if you can target your perfect customer on LinkedIn, the only platform where you can do that? Send them connection requests. So if we send 800 a month, very reasonable to have, honestly 200, 25%, but we'll say 150 just to keep things conservative. Then connection to lead call rate. So this can vary wildly also between businesses. It depends how aggressive you are in your calls to action with your content. If you have a newsletter, that usually increases this because you can convert more people. If you have a landing page with a VSL, definitely helps. If you send DMs to start conversations and start sales calls, definitely helps a lot. And so 1% is pretty standard, so we're going to keep it there. Close rate, let's say they have a 30% close rate, which usually, by the way, means you're pretty appropriately priced, you have a great offer, and you're attracting the right people. So if we look at the summaries, total new connections would be 250. Total calls per month would be 2.5. Now, I understand that doesn't seem like a lot. There are things you can do to tweak that. Like if you get aggressive with DMs and you're smart about it, you could probably get up to 2% and sometimes even higher. And suddenly you're booking 5 calls a month, but let's just keep it at 1. Like I said, I want to keep it conservative. And total calls 2.5, total closes 0.75. So you're closing one person every 5 to 6 weeks. Okay, that's what this looks like with these assumptions. Now you're paying $5,000 per month. Month 1, you're down $5,000. Month 2, you land a client for $6,500. You're down another $5,000. So you got $10,000 in expenses, $6,500 in revenue, and even a little bit less in profit because you have to pay some customers. Month 3, though, it starts catching up. Month 4, month 5. By month 6, you're definitely break even, and you know that these clients are going to stay with you for a long time. So if you cut the service, then you would make, so this is the total number of profit that would be generated every month from the LinkedIn stuff that you're doing. So from those clients that you acquired, you'd make about $50,000. And you'd have spent about $5,000. The hard part is that's over the course of 20 months. So that obviously changes the immediate cash flow. But if this is why I tell people this isn't a short-term game. You don't just do this for 3 months. It's like for this to really make sense, you want to be doing it for 12 plus months. But for LinkedIn to become a marketing channel, I often see it happen in the 4 to 6 month mark where you're not just getting leads from people who are already in your network, but you're getting net new people who are seeing your content, reaching out to you, responding to your outreach, booking calls, that kind of thing. So that's what you can expect. Now let's do another example. Let's do a different type of marketing agency. We'll say they have a much shorter lifespan. So we'll say churn is 33%. They last for 3 months on average. Gross profit high, and we'll say that they charge $8,300 a month. So lifetime value, you're sitting at $25,000. Lifetime gross profit, every customer is worth $20,000. Okay, so you're going to notice some things. If we just assumed the same over here, this just isn't going to work. You can see this is the minimum that I want. So 3. It's like, okay, that's fine. You spend $5K, you get $15K. That's actually not bad. And the reality is you get more. Remember, this down here is profit, total profit that you're generating every month. But really what you want to tweak here is if you have a company that looks like this, you want to ramp content. You need more traffic. And so I would try to let's go to 500. Let's get 150 people that are coming in from content every single week. So that's 600. And we're still doing connection requests to the ideal audience. We assume the typical call rate, which that's another huge variable to tweak, but we'll just assume it is. We could even, let's say, go down to 25% close rate because we're going higher volume. There might be some lower lead quality. And we get 750 new connections every month, 7.5 calls, and about 2 closes. And that would look very profitable. So you spend $5K, you make $38K in profit. Obviously, like I said, there are a lot of things you can tweak. What if we go to 1,200? It's like that's a double. What if we go to 2%, not 20%? So for those 1,200 people, you book 24 calls. In this case, it becomes extremely profitable. And just so you know, I have had clients like this where they spend something like $5,000 and they make $136,000. Usually it's over a longer course of time, but that's how one of my clients has gone from about $20,000 or $25,000 per month when we started to multiple millions of dollars per year, all with content. Pretty amazing. So that's what it looks like. I've just shown you a couple of different examples. You'll probably notice there are some very high leverage points. So how many people you convert, which really matters, like the type of people that you're bringing in. If you're doing DMs, if you have lead magnets, there's just a lot of variables that affect each of the inputs. So how much reach you get, that's a huge one. The connection quality, so the types of people, your pricing, and your back-end business. That's why I usually work with people who have lifetime values that are north of $20,000, because if it's lower, if every customer is only worth $1,000 to you, guess what that means? It means you got to really ramp the content reach. You got to reach way more people, get way more people in for it to make sense to hire an agency like mine. And then obviously, if you have lower churn, that means you have higher lifetime value, which means every single lead is worth more dollars to you. So, the quality of the business dramatically impacts how well you get a return on investment from LinkedIn. And that's it. So hopefully now you understand how you can actually track your return on investment from LinkedIn, the key variables that affect your return on investment, and what you can do about it. If you want that calculator, I'm going to drop it. It will be at the top of the description in YouTube. And if you have any questions, any comments, please drop them. I am attempting to grow my YouTube channel bit by bit and spend more time with you folks. And so, would really appreciate any comments. A like, a subscribe means a lot. Let me know if you have questions. I'd also be happy to run, if you want to drop me a message in the comments, we could connect and could run you through your specific scenario, what that looks like. So let's chat and talk to you soon.